Commander Jake Murphy stood at the window of the New Frontier space station, watching the massive alien ship approach Earth. The vessel was 3 times larger than any human spacecraft ever built. Its crystal surface gleamed like a diamond in the sunlight. Jake had been preparing for this moment for months, but seeing the aliens arrive still made his heart race. The ship docked with a soft thud that shook the entire station. Jake walked to the main airlock where his team waited. Dr. Lisa Harper checked her tablet one more time. She was Earth's best energy scientist, and today she would meet beings from across the galaxy. The airlock door opened with a hiss. The first alien to enter looked like a walking crystal. It was tall, maybe 8 feet, with light flowing through its transparent body. Behind it came something that looked like a cloud of blue gas wearing a metal suit. "I am Ambassador Zix-9 of the Solari. People," the crystal being said. Its voice sounded like wind chimes. "This is Engineer Veltar of the Nebulan race. We speak for the Celestial Engineering Consortium." Jake stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth. I'm Commander Murphy. This is Dr. Harper, our lead scientist." The gas creature in the suit spoke next. Its voice was deep and echoing. "We come with an offer that will change your world." They moved to the station's main conference room. The wall showed a view of Earth spinning below them. Ambassador Zix-9 touched a device on its arm, and the room filled with images of space. "Every intelligent species in our galaxy must prove its worth," Zix-9 said. "The way to do this is simple. You must contribute to the galactic energy grid." The images showed massive structures floating in space around distant stars. Each structure was bigger than Earth's moon. They looked like giant mirrors that caught starlight and turned it into power. "These are solar collection arrays, Engineer," Veltar explained. "They gather energy from stars and send it across the galaxy. Every civilized world builds them." Dr. Harper leaned forward. "How much energy do they produce?" "Enough to power entire star systems," Zix-9 answered. "But building them requires giving up your orbital space. We will construct the arrays for you. Your people will help maintain them." Jake felt his stomach drop. "What if we refuse?" The alien's crystal body grew brighter. "Then your species cannot join galactic civilization. You will be left alone. Cut off from all trade and knowledge." The images changed to show Earth surrounded by the massive arrays. The structures would block much of the sunlight reaching the planet. Earth would become cold and dark. "You have 1 galactic year to match our energy output," Veltar said. "That is about 14 of your Earth months. If you cannot do this, we will assume you are not ready for galactic membership." Dr. Harper stood up. "May we see your technology?" "In action?" Zix-9 nodded. "We will build a demonstration array in your outer solar system. You will see what we can do." Over the next few days, Jake watched the aliens work. They brought more ships, each one carrying pieces of the giant solar array. The construction happened faster than any human project. Within a week, they had built a structure that was visible from Earth with a telescope. The array began working immediately. It collected sunlight and beamed the energy toward deep space, but Jake noticed that it also blocked light that should have reached Earth. The planet's temperature dropped by 2 degrees in the first week. Dr. Harper spent her time studying the alien technology. She took readings and asked questions. The aliens were happy to share information about their solar arrays. They seemed proud of what they had built. "This is amazing work," Harper told Jake one evening. "Their technology is hundreds of years ahead of ours." "But," Jake could hear doubt in her voice. "But it's not the only way to make energy," she said. "They're so focused on solar power that they've never tried anything else." Jake raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Harper pulled up data on her tablet. "Every species they've shown us uses the same method. They build these huge arrays around stars. It works, but it requires taking over entire solar systems. And you think there's another way?" "I know there is." Harper's eyes lit up. "While they look up at the stars, we could look down, deep down." She showed Jake readings from Earth's core. "The planet has enormous amounts of energy right beneath our feet. Geothermal power from the planet's molten center. No other species has ever tried to tap it at the depths we could reach. Jake studied the numbers. How deep are we talking? Deeper than anyone has ever gone. Maybe 50 kilometers or more. The temperatures down there are hot enough to melt most metals. The pressure would crush any normal equipment. Sounds impossible. Harper smiled. That's what makes it perfect. The aliens expect us to copy their methods. They'll never see this coming. The next day, Jake met with President Alan Carter and the Earth Council. The meeting was held in the EU secure chamber deep below Washington. The planet's leaders had been watching the alien demonstration with growing worry. The arrays are affecting our weather, reported General Patricia Stone. Crop yields are down 20% where the shadows fall. If they build more, we could face global cooling. President Carter looked tired. What are our options? Jake stood up. Dr. Harper has a proposal. Instead of copying alien technology, we could try something completely different. Harper presented her plan to tap Earth's geothermal energy. The room fell silent as she explained the challenges. They would need to drill deeper than ever before, through rock and metal to reach the planet's core. The engineering problems are massive, admitted Pete Johnson, head of Earth's drilling operations. We've never gone below 30 kilometers. What you're suggesting is nearly impossible. Nearly impossible isn't the same as impossible, Harper replied. And we have something the aliens don't. What's that? Asked President Carter. Stubbornness, Harper said with a grin. Humans have always done things the hard way. While other species look for easy answers in space, we'll find our answer by going deeper than anyone thought possible. The Council voted to approve Project Deep Core. Earth would not submit to alien technology. Instead, they would prove that human determination could find solutions that no one else had ever imagined. As Jake returned to the space station, he saw more alien ships arriving. They were building more arrays, creating larger shadows on Earth. But for the first time since first contact, he felt hopeful. Humans had always been good at doing the impossible. Dr. Lisa Harper stood before the Earth Council with her presentation ready. The room was packed with scientists, engineers, and military leaders from around the world. Everyone wanted to hear about Project Deep Core. The plan is simple, Harper began. While aliens harvest energy from stars, we'll tap directly into Earth's core. The planet generates massive amounts of heat from radioactive decay and leftover energy from its formation. We just need to reach it. Pete Johnson, the head of Earth's drilling operations, shook his head. Simple? Dr. Harper, you're talking about drilling 50 kilometers straight down. That's deeper than anyone has ever gone. The deepest we've drilled is 12 kilometers, added Dr. Amy Rodriguez, a physicist who specialized in extreme conditions. At that depth, the temperature was already over 300 degrees. At 50 kilometers, we're looking at temperatures over 1,000 degrees. Harper nodded. I know it sounds impossible, but we have advantages that previous attempts didn't have. She showed images of new materials on the main screen. Dr. Kevin Brown's team has developed metamaterial composites that can survive extreme heat. Dr. Susan Clark has designed thermal management systems that actually use the heat to power themselves. Dr. Brown stood up from his seat. The materials are promising, but we've only tested them in labs. We don't know if they'll work under real conditions. Then we test them, Harper replied. We start with a demonstration drill in Iceland. The geothermal activity there gives us a head start. President Carter leaned forward. What about the aliens? They're watching our every move. Commander Murphy answered from his position near the back. Science Coordinator Thexmill has been asking questions about our industrial activity. They seem curious about what we're planning. Let them be curious, Harper said. They think in terms of solar arrays and space construction. They won't understand what we're doing until it's too late. The meeting broke up with approval to begin the project. Harper felt excited and terrified at the same time. She had convinced Earth's leaders to try something that might be impossible. 2 weeks later, Harper stood in the Icelandic wind watching the construction of the first deep core facility. The site was near existing geothermal plants where the Earth's heat already came close to the surface. If they were going to succeed anywhere, it would be here. Pete Johnson walked over with mud on his boots. The foundation is ready. We can start the first test drill tomorrow. What's the deepest you think we can go? Harper asked. Johnson squinted at the drilling tower. With normal equipment? Maybe 15 kilometers before everything melts. But your new materials might change that. Dr. Rodriguez joined them with her tablet showing temperature readings. The heat signatures are stronger than expected. There's definitely more energy down there than our models predicted. The next morning, they began drilling. The new drill bit was made from Dr. Brown's metamaterials and powered by Dr. Clark's thermal systems. As it went deeper, it actually got more powerful from the heat. At 10 kilometers, normal equipment would have failed. The new drill kept going. At 15 kilometers, they broke the human record for deep drilling. The energy readings were incredible. At 18 kilometers, something unexpected happened. The drill hit resistance that wasn't rock or metal. The readings showed structured materials embedded in the stone. That's not natural, Rodriguez said, studying her instruments. There's something artificial down there. Dr. Carl Miller, an archaeologist, who had joined the project, examined the samples they brought up. These metal fragments are millions of years old. Someone else tried to drill this deep before humans existed. Harper felt a chill that had nothing to do with the Icelandic weather. Another species tried this? Looks like it, Miller replied. And from the debris patterns, I'd say they succeeded for a while before something went wrong. Meanwhile, in space, the alien observers were taking notice. Science coordinator Thexmill watched human activities with growing confusion. They're digging holes, Thexmill reported to Ambassador Zix-9. Very deep holes. I don't understand the purpose. Zix-9's crystal body pulsed with amusement. Primitive behavior. Many species try to hide underground when faced with superior technology. They'll realize soon that they cannot escape their need for our help. But Engineer Veltar wasn't so sure. The gaseous being had studied human behavior more carefully than the others. Their drilling operations show sophisticated engineering. This might not be hiding. What else could it be? Zix-9 asked. Veltar examined the data streams from Earth. Unknown. But humans have surprised us before. We should watch more carefully. Back in Iceland, the drilling continued. At 20 kilometers, the temperatures reached 800 degrees, but the equipment kept working. The energy output from the geothermal tap was already impressive. Dr. Clark monitored the thermal systems with excitement. The heat is actually making our equipment more efficient. The deeper we go, the more power we can generate. At 25 kilometers, they encountered the ancient structures again. This time, Miller was able to extract larger samples. The metal was unlike anything in human technology, but it was clearly artificial. This civilization was advanced, Miller explained to the team. Their materials are actually superior to ours in some ways, but they're all damaged as if the project failed catastrophically. Harper studied the alien metal fragments. What do you think went wrong? I'm not sure, Miller admitted. But the damage patterns suggest they hit something they weren't expecting. Something that destroyed their equipment and ended their drilling. Despite the mystery, Harper decided to continue. They had come too far to stop now. The energy readings at 25 kilometers showed they were producing power equivalent to a small nuclear reactor. At 30 kilometers, something remarkable happened. The ancient structures became more common, and some were still partially functional. The drill began encountering spaces that weren't solid rock. There are chambers down there, Rodriguez reported. Big ones, and they're not natural. The drill samples now included strange crystalline formations that seemed to store energy. Dr. Brown analyzed them with fascination. These crystals are like biological batteries, he explained. They've been storing geothermal energy for millions of years. Harper realized what they had found. The previous civilization didn't just drill for energy. They built something down there, an entire geothermal power system. As news of the discovery spread, the alien observers became more interested. Thexmill requested a meeting with human representatives to discuss their excavation activities. Commander Murphy met with the alien science coordinator aboard the space station. Thexmill's insectoid form clicked with curiosity. Your species shows interesting behavior, Thexmill said. Most civilizations focus on reaching toward the stars. You seem determined to burrow deeper into your world, Murphy smiled. We're just exploring our options. 17 species have attempted deep geothermal extraction, Thexmill continued. All failed. The deepest successful attempt reached 12 kilometers. Your current depth is concerning. Concerning how? Thexmill's compound eyes reflected light. Strangely. Deep drilling awakens things that should remain buried. Ancient automated systems. Unstable energy formations. The previous civilization that tried this on your world was destroyed by their own success. Murphy felt his confidence shake. What do you mean destroyed? They reached the planet's core energy, but they could not control it. The resulting explosion created your moon. The weight of that statement hit Murphy like a physical blow. Earth's moon was the result of a failed drilling project by an ancient civilization, but when he reported this to Harper, she didn't seem worried. Then we'll just have to succeed where they failed, she said simply. We have better technology and more knowledge. Besides, backing down now would mean accepting alien control forever. The drilling continued, pushing toward depths no human had ever imagined reaching. At 35 kilometers, they were producing energy that amazed even the alien observers. But Harper knew they were just getting started. The real test would come when they tried to reach the planet's core itself. The alien solar arrays were getting bigger every week. Dr. Lisa Harper watched from her lab window as another massive structure took shape in Earth's sky. The shadows were now covering large parts of North America, and the temperature drops were affecting crops worldwide. President Carter called Harper directly that morning. His voice was tight with stress. The public is losing patience. Food prices have doubled in the shadow zones. People want us to accept the alien deal. We're making progress, Harper replied. The Iceland facility is producing more energy than we expected. It's not enough. The aliens want energy output equal to their star collectors. We're not even close. Harper understood the pressure, but she also knew they were on the edge of a breakthrough. Give me 2 more months. We have ideas that could change everything. After the call, Harper met with her core team in the secure lab. Dr. Amy Rodriguez had been working on quantum tunneling applications. Dr. Kevin Brown was developing self-repairing materials. Dr. Susan Clark was designing systems that could work in conditions that would destroy any known technology. Show me what you have, Harper said. Rodriguez pulled up her research on the main screen. I've been studying how we can drill through the hardest materials. Normal drilling uses force to break through rock, but quantum tunneling lets us create microscopic passages through solid matter. That sounds like science fiction, said Pete Johnson, who had flown in from Iceland. It's real, Rodriguez insisted. We can make drilling equipment that phases through rock instead of breaking it. The equipment literally passes through solid material at the quantum level. Brown added his own research. Combine that with self-repairing nanotechnology, and we get drilling systems that adapt as they go deeper. If something breaks, the system fixes itself. If conditions change, the equipment evolves to handle them. Harper felt excitement building. How deep could we go with this technology? Theoretically? All the way to the core, Clark replied. My thermal management systems can handle any temperature if we use the heat to power the cooling systems. It's a closed loop that gets more efficient as conditions get worse. Johnson shook his head. This is beyond anything we've ever attempted. The engineering challenges alone are exactly what humans are good at solving, Harper interrupted. The aliens think in terms of what's been done before. We think in terms of what might be possible. 3 weeks later, they tested the new technology in Iceland. The quantum drilling system worked better than anyone expected. The equipment literally passed through solid granite as if it wasn't there. At 35 kilometers, they broke through into one of the ancient chambers Rodriguez had detected. The space was huge, carved from solid rock millions of years ago. But more importantly, it was full of the energy-storing crystals that Brown had analyzed. Danny Walsh, the crew chief who operated the drilling equipment, couldn't believe what he was seeing on his monitors. There's a whole city down there, made of crystal and metal. And it's still partially powered. Marie Foster, the lead technician, was analyzing the energy readings. The crystals are feeding power into some kind of network. It's like the entire chamber is one giant battery. Harper realized what they had found. The ancient civilization didn't just try to tap geothermal energy. They built an infrastructure to store and distribute it. That's why they could drill so deep. They had a power source that got stronger the deeper they went. Dr. Carl Miller, the archaeologist studying the ancient remains, made another discovery. The technology down there is designed to interface with biological systems. I think the previous civilization wasn't just advanced. They were designed to work with planetary energy systems. As word of the discovery spread, the alien observers became more concerned. Ambassador Zix-9 called an emergency meeting with human representatives. Your drilling activities are approaching dangerous depths, Zix-9 warned Commander Murphy. The energy signatures we're detecting exceed safe parameters. Murphy met with the alien aboard the space station, but this time he wasn't alone. Engineer Veltar had requested to attend despite objections from other consortium members. Define dangerous, Murphy said calmly. At the depths you're reaching, planetary energy becomes unstable, Zix-9 replied. The previous civilization that attempted this was destroyed when they lost control. Veltar spoke up, surprising both Murphy and Zix-9. But they succeeded first. The energy readings from Earth show power generation beyond our most optimistic estimates. Zix-9's crystal body flared with anger. You forget your place, engineer. Solar collection is the proven method. It has worked for thousands of species, across millions of years. And it requires surrendering orbital sovereignty to the consortium, Murphy pointed out. Our method doesn't. Veltar's gaseous form shimmered with what Murphy had learned was curiosity. May I observe your operations more closely? The engineering principles you're using are unknown to our science. Zix-9 objected immediately. That would violate consortium protocols. We do not study primitive techniques. But Veltar was already making plans to visit Earth secretly. The engineer was beginning to question everything the consortium claimed about energy generation. Back in Iceland, Harper's team was preparing for the deepest drill attempt in human history. The new facility could reach depths of 60 kilometers or more, tapping directly into Earth's mantle layer. But first, they had to solve the mystery of what destroyed the ancient civilization. Miller had found evidence of a massive energy release that had shattered the deep installations and sent debris toward the surface. They made a mistake, Miller explained to the team. They tried to tap too much energy too quickly. The system overloaded and exploded. Harper studied the ancient technology more carefully. But their storage crystals are still working. That means the energy is controllable if you approach it correctly. Rodriguez had been analyzing the quantum signatures from the deep chambers. The ancient system was designed to work gradually. They built up their energy storage over thousands of years before attempting to access the planet's core. We don't have thousands of years, Johnson pointed out. The aliens gave us 14 months and we've already used 4 of them. Harper smiled with the confidence that was starting to worry her friends. We don't need thousands of years. We have something the ancient civilization didn't. What's that? Modern technology, and the knowledge of what went wrong the first time. The next drilling attempt began at a new site in the Yellowstone region. Dr. Frank Turner, a geologist specializing in volcanic systems, led the preparation. The area's natural geothermal activity would provide additional power for the deep drilling. But as they began, Turner made an unexpected discovery. There's life down there, complex organisms that feed on geothermal energy. Dr. Helen Green, a biologist who specialized in extreme environments, studied the samples with fascination. These organisms have been living off planetary heat for millions of years. They're like living geothermal converters. Harper saw an opportunity. Can we work with them instead of drilling around them? Green's eyes lit up. If we can communicate with them, they might help us. They already know how to access deep planetary energy safely. Within days, Green had established basic communication with the deep living organisms. They were intelligent, though their thought processes were completely unlike human thinking. They understood energy flows and planetary systems in ways that no surface creature could. They're willing to help, Green reported. but they want something in return: protection for their deep habitats. Harper agreed immediately. The partnership between humans and the deep-dwelling life forms created drilling systems that were part technology and part biology. The living components guided the mechanical parts through the most dangerous areas. At 50 kilometers depth, the biomechanical drilling system tapped into energy flows that registered on instruments around the world. The power output was equivalent to a large star, but it was completely controlled and sustainable. The aliens detected the energy surge immediately. For the first time since arriving at Earth, they seemed genuinely surprised. Veltar, who had been secretly monitoring human activities, made a decision that would change everything. The engineer broke consortium protocol and requested formal permission to study human geothermal technology. "This is unprecedented," Zix-9 responded. "We do not learn from primitive species." "Perhaps," Veltar replied, "it is time to reconsider what we mean by primitive." The success in Iceland changed everything. Within 2 months, Dr. Lisa Harper was coordinating deep core facilities on 3 continents. Each location presented new challenges that pushed human engineering beyond what anyone thought possible. Yellowstone, Dr. Frank Turner led a team that was working with the deep-dwelling organisms Dr. Helen Green had discovered. The biological partnership was producing results that amazed even Harper. "The organisms understand planetary energy in ways we never imagined," Green explained during their weekly team meeting. "They've been managing geothermal flows for millions of years. They're teaching our equipment how to work with the planet instead of fighting it." The biomechanical drilling system in Yellowstone had reached 45 kilometers without any of the problems that had destroyed normal equipment. The living components adapted to each new condition, growing stronger as they went deeper. Danny Walsh, who was operating the biomechanical systems, reported results that sounded impossible. "The biological parts are actually improving our technology. They're growing new connections and strengthening weak points as we drill." Meanwhile, the Pacific facility was facing different challenges. Captain Steve Parker, a marine engineer with experience in deep-sea operations, was leading the construction of an underwater deep-core platform. "Building on the ocean floor is like working on another planet," Parker explained to Dr. Nicole Adams, who specialized in extreme deep-sea conditions. "Everything has to work under massive pressure and in complete darkness. But the underwater location had advantages. The ocean floor was already close to the planet's geothermal activity, and the water provided natural cooling for their equipment. At 48 kilometers depth, the Pacific facility hit something unprecedented. The drilling system encountered what seemed to be a massive underground ocean of superheated water and dissolved minerals. "It's like a planetary circulatory system," Adams reported to Harper. "Superheated water is flowing through chambers the size of cities. The energy potential is beyond our measurements." Parker's team developed new techniques for tapping into the underground ocean without disrupting its flow. They created systems that worked like artificial gills, extracting energy from the moving superheated water. At 52 kilometers, they achieved something no human had ever done before. They were producing energy directly from the planet's mantle, accessing the same forces that powered volcanoes and earthquakes. But the most ambitious project was taking place in East Africa. Harper herself was overseeing the construction of a facility in the Great Rift Valley, where the planet's crust was thinnest. Tony Miller, a veteran drilling supervisor who had worked on oil platforms around the world, couldn't believe what they were attempting. 60 kilometers straight down through some of the most unstable geology on Earth. "This is either brilliant or insane." "Maybe both," Harper replied. "But the geological instability also means we're closer to the planetary energy sources. If we can stabilize the drilling process, we'll reach energy levels that dwarf everything else." The East Africa facility used all the lessons learned from Iceland, Yellowstone, and the Pacific. They combined quantum tunneling technology with biological partnerships and deep-sea pressure management techniques. Dr. Carl Miller, the archaeologist, had made his most important discovery at this site. The ancient technological remains were more complete here, and some systems were still partially functional. The previous civilization built their main facility here, Miller explained. They reached the planet's core, but something went wrong at the very end. The final chamber shows signs of massive energy discharge. Harper studied the ancient chamber with growing understanding. They tried to tap directly into the core's fusion reactions. That's what destroyed them. So we avoid making the same mistake, suggested Dr. Amy Rodriguez, who had developed the quantum drilling systems. Actually, Harper said with a smile that always made her team nervous, we learn from their mistake and do it right. The plan Harper proposed was audacious even by human standards. Instead of tapping directly into the core's energy, they would access the convection currents that carried heat toward the surface. They would work with the planet's natural energy flow instead of trying to control it. At 58 kilometers, deeper than any human had ever gone, they encountered the ancient civilization's final chamber. The space was enormous, carved directly into the planet's mantle. Ancient technology filled the chamber, still partially powered by geothermal energy. But Harper's team also found something the ancients had missed. The chamber contained natural formations that could safely channel core energy toward the surface. The planet itself had evolved systems for managing the massive energy flows. The planet is alive, Dr. Helen Green realized as she studied the biological components in the deep chamber. Not conscious like animals, but alive like a giant organism. It has systems for managing energy, temperature, and pressure. Working with both ancient technology and natural planetary systems, Harper's team achieved the impossible. At 65 kilometers depth, they tapped directly into energy flows from Earth's core. The power output was beyond measurement. The facility was generating energy equivalent to multiple stars, all from a single drilling site that was completely sustainable and environmentally safe. The achievement sent shockwaves through the alien community. The Celestial Engineering Consortium held emergency meetings as reports reached them from across the galaxy. Ambassador Zix-9 was no longer dismissive of human capabilities. This is impossible according to our understanding of planetary physics. How are they achieving these energy outputs? Engineer Veltar had been secretly studying human techniques and was ready with an answer. They're not fighting planetary systems, they're working with them. It's a completely different approach from our solar collection methods. Are you suggesting our methods are inferior? Zix-9 asked dangerously. I'm suggesting our methods are limited, Veltar replied. Solar energy is abundant but diffuse. Planetary core energy is concentrated and constant. The humans may have found something better than what we've been doing. The suggestion was revolutionary. For thousands of years, the consortium had based galactic civilization on solar energy collection. The idea that a primitive species had found a superior method challenged everything they believed. Other alien species began taking notice. The crystalline miners sent observers to study human drilling techniques. The energy-based flux requested data on planetary core energy systems. Even species that had never shown interest in human activities were asking questions. Back on Earth, President Carter was dealing with completely different problems. The success of the Deep Core project had solved the energy crisis, but now other nations wanted access to the technology. Every country with geothermal activity wants their own deep core facility, Carter explained to Harper during a secure communication. We're getting requests from nations that were previously hostile to us. Harper was coordinating all the facilities from her command center in East Africa. The technology is complex, but it can be scaled up. The real question is whether we want to share it. The aliens are watching everything we do, Commander Murphy added from his position on the space station. If we expand too quickly, they might see us as a threat. Harper looked at the energy readings from all 4 facilities. Earth was now producing more power than most star systems, all from sustainable planetary sources that would last for billions of years. Let them watch, she said. By the time they understand what we've accomplished, it will be too late to stop us. The final facility came online 3 months before the alien deadline. Earth was not only meeting the energy requirements for galactic membership, but far exceeding them. The planet had become one of the most powerful energy sources in the known galaxy. But Harper knew the real test was still coming. The aliens had given them a challenge, expecting them to fail. Now that humans had succeeded beyond all expectations, the consortium would have to decide how to respond. Engineer Veltar arrived at Earth orbit with a request that surprised everyone. The alien engineer wanted permission to visit the surface and study human geothermal technology directly. The aliens had expected humans to copy their methods or fail trying. Instead, humanity had found a completely different path that worked better than anything the galaxy had seen before. Sometimes the best way forward isn't up, Harper said to herself, watching ships from a doze.